When it comes to your disability case, there are yes and no questions, but that doesn't mean there should be yes and no answers. We'll tell you why right after this.
I want to be your disability rep.
And we are back. You know, in the courtroom, if it's my witness, if I've subpoenaed them, I've called them to the stand, I'm really not allowed to even ask yes or no questions because that's considered leading the witness. Right. But in disability, how does that work out?
Yeah, there's lots of yes or no questions in disability, and some of the judges are very specific. I mean, very particular about wanting a yes or no answer. But I always encourage my clients to avoid it at all costs. You know, each question that you're asked in a disability hearing is an opportunity to put the judge in your shoes. And we have a much
Less formal setting than what you would have in a court setting.
Yeah.
And we want to make the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, it's interesting you would say that because my advice usually to witnesses, particularly my witnesses and my clients, is say as little as possible. Short answers, listen very carefully to the question, answer just the question that's asked. And if I want more information to come out, I will either get to ask you a follow-up question or I'll ask you a question on redirect later. Not so with you.
Yeah, that's not really the way that I approach it. So let me ask you a question. Do you cook?
Yes.
Yeah, so I get the feeling from talking with you, sometimes that's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to cook.
Yeah, but you cater some events, and right?
Not personally, but I will help my friends who do cater. I'll cook at home. I'll provide all that. Am I getting better? Am I answering more questions?
I know that you've helped some with weddings and some other big events.
I did my niece's wedding. Yeah, I did the charcuterie for that.
So how do I know from yes or no whether you're cooking like Will does, or if you're fixing ramen noodles and toast?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
you got to have an advocate that knows how to ask the follow-up questions.
Right, but you know the problem with that is when we talk about the initial forms, especially Social Security will send out a function report at both the initial level and the reconsideration level, and it just says, "Do you cook?" And so much of the time, the questions that are asked on those questionnaires come back in the decision from the judge, and they give them credit for doing much more than what they really do. Do you cook? Do you drive? Do you shop? Yeah. Right? I mean, shopping is sometimes Amazon in the middle bedroom in our pajamas.
Yeah.
Other times
it's my favorite way to shop.
Yeah. Other times it's the mall on Black Friday.
Right.
Both of those are shopping. And if we don't have some way of differentiating the two, our judge may be thinking of shopping in the mall instead of shopping in your pajamas.
Well, and again, that's why that in-person hearing with an experienced advocate is really important to make sure that all that information gets out.
Yeah. And I always tell the story when this comes up, but I had a gal before who said she loved to garden. It was one of my clients in hearing, loved to garden. And in her mind, she was thinking 2 potted plants on her back deck. In the judge's mind, she was running a tiller.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I tell folks all the time when we talk to the judge especially, you have to eliminate the room for the judge's imagination to fill in the gaps. You have to tell the judge what it is. And the problem with our hearings, a lot of times, is the judge asks questions, and that's a big distinction from what you do.
Yeah, it is.
The judge asks the questions, they'll give us an opportunity to follow, but by the time we follow, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes may have passed when you circle back. So you don't have that opportunity to kind of correct and elaborate in that moment, you have to circle back and fix it later.
Yeah, I could see how that would be really, really tricky. Yeah, any parting thoughts for us this morning?
It is, this will be the last show this year, actually.
It will be, yeah, that's right. Yeah, indeed it will. So if you want to get something in before the end of the year, you're going to need to call Roy. Right there's his number on the screen, 417-812-6698, or you can scan that QR code, goes to his website. These videos and more information all available there, and we will join you next year.
Yes,
for
we
more
will.
information on the
Happy
disability
holidays,
act.
guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I want to be your disability rep.